Epicurus and John Stuart Mill. Today we're going to talk about Robert Nozick and Jean Kazaz. Any questions about Epicurus or Mill left over? On some of the additional videos I have put up these videos as reminders. I was going to play this morning, but I don't think I will. He's going to give a short synopsis of what John Stuart Mill's principle of utility is, the greatest happiness for the greatest number. He made a point, and I wasn't sure I made it in this class, and so I want to make sure I make reference to it. We have a moral obligation to make more people happy or to make less people unhappy. So if we can increase happiness, we have a moral obligation. However, it comes with a caveat. You can't purposely make some people unhappy to make everybody else happy. Everybody follows? So some people will be displeasured by what happens. The richest, if we give everybody a reasonable wage, $15 an hour, I'm sure they're not going to be happy. But the intent isn't to make them unhappy, it's to make people happier, to give them a modest way of making a living rather than a minimum wage. So you cannot use the principle of utility to purposely make people feel unhappy, any of the negatives that go along with that. So that does away with slavery, it does away with racism, a whole lot of other things that are intentional in some parts, in some situations. That does not fulfill the principle of utility. But there will be people who feel negative or disenfranchised because they don't get the benefit. Does everybody understand that about the principle? We use this principle more than any other principle. We try and increase happiness all the time. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So where we can, we try and do that all the time. Now, Robert Nozick is an interesting gentleman. He has something called the experience machine. I have the light turned off, okay. He says this: suppose there were an experience machine that would give you any experience you desired, anything you desired. Super-duper neuropsychologist would stimulate your brain so that you would think and feel you were writing a great novel, making a friend, reading an interesting book. All the time you would be floating in a tank with electrodes attached to your brain should you plug into this machine for life, pre-programming your life's experiences. So the pertinent question, probably to start this with, is how many of you have had unpleasant experiences in your life? Would it be nice to have avoided those experiences? Divorced twice? That would have been nice.
I kind of think that our bad experiences make us who we are. No?
Yeah, some people are really ugly, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't argue with that. I mean, that's the right point.
Even good people grow from, the bad things that we've experienced, you know?
Sure, I don't argue with that. Wouldn't it?
I kind of think that, I guess what I'm saying is I think that some of the bad experiences are necessary. That's my opinion.
And how would we calculate which ones are, I'm not arguing, how would we calculate which ones are necessary, which are like stage 4 cancer? Getting run over by a 6,000-pound van traveling 20 miles an hour, falling off a second-story building, having a 2,000-pound wall.
Well, maybe not that bad.
Well, which one of those would be beneficial? Blood poisoning, trying to commit suicide?
Which one did you grow the most from?
Say what?
What did you take the most? If it's a bad experience and you don't grow as a person because of it, and all it is a bad experience.
That's a great question, too.
I feel like it's all relative depending on what you're doing. Like personal opinion. And it's a good experience for you. And maybe you can learn something from it. Butterfly effect.
Say that louder.
It's the butterfly effect. That's what I call it, the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect, yeah. That's interesting. Because we started this on Monday saying how many of you want more happiness rather than less happiness, and everybody signed up for more. And how many of you want more pain rather than less pain, and I didn't see anybody sign up for more of that. But it's true, we learn from all our experiences. We can take something really bad and turn it into something that we learn from. I don't know if we can turn it into something good, but certainly we can turn it into something we learn from. But what if we never had to experience anything bad? No more cancer. No more running over by vans. No more divorces. No more children that pop out of the oven with one side of their forehead here and their chin over here. This is my middle boy, Joe. And he's significantly different than normal people are. Born blind in both eyes. Double hernias, clap feet. Suffers from ataxia and suffers from Asperger's syndrome. Joe's a happy guy. Half of all families end in divorce in this country now. Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to go through that? Well, sometimes it's nice to see somebody leave. Let's be honest, right? It's not always one gender. 3% of the time it is the mother. No more people getting murdered. No more people dying from overdoses. No more people bullied. No more people raped. No more people robbed.
I feel like there'd be a lack of appreciation.
Say again?
I feel like there'd be a lack of appreciation at that point.
Does a woman appreciate being raped? Why would there be a lack of appreciation then? I'm not saying no, I'm just...
Depending on the situation.
Oh, the situation. Has anybody ever been robbed? That was an interesting experience. Did you appreciate it? Okay, I'm not arguing. I understand the philosophical point. I'm just saying when it comes down to where we live, I don't know that any of the negatives have a positive until we try and make sense of them. And we learn from them. And maybe they make us better people. Or maybe they make us worse. But Nozick is asking, what if you never had to counter those experiences anymore? Hang on, I heard in the background, but hang on. Go ahead, you raise your hand.
Be like pretty like self-entitled. I know entitled, but like intolerable of like little inconveniences. Are they not supposed to exist though in this scenario? Like in this scenario, those bad events just do not exist in your reality.
Whatever you want comes true. All your dreams come true. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You want to be a millionaire, you can be a millionaire. Want to be a movie star, you can be a movie star. Want to be a minimalist, you can be a minimalist. Nothing negative will happen. All your dreams come true.
To me, that sounds scary. To me, that sounds scary.
Sounds scary. Wow. Say what?
I said, I don't think that'd be scary.
Yeah. No more broken legs. No more cavities. Right? No more facial surgery to straighten your face out when you land on it. Somebody mumbled something over here. Did you say something? I just want to quite... Okay, it's okay. I'm not picking on anyone. I just want us to flush this out. Because at first blush, it kind of sounds interesting. Wow. Think of all the... Go ahead.
A lot more sensitive. You know, if you had any bad experience, everybody would be like soft skinned. You know, anything that would happen would bother everybody. All that ripple effect.
So what would be the effect? I didn't hear the last part. Sure. All right.
Like if you never had to go through the bad experiences, whenever something minimal would come around, you'd pout and whine and whatever, you know, nonsense just because this is now your version of bad. So I think everybody would, as a whole, be more sensitive.
Sure. Okay. No more war.
So would it be like real, or would you be in a machine?
You'd be in a machine. It wouldn't be real. That's the problem. It wouldn't be real. You'd be in a machine. That's a great question. That's to the point of the whole thing. It wouldn't be real, but it would feel like real.
Wouldn't it may as well be real as far as we're concerned?
Say again?
Wouldn't it be real as far as we're concerned? We're not ever seeing anything else.
As far as you're concerned, absolutely. How many of you have very real dreams, people? Good dreams and really bad dreams, too. Yeah.
Well, at this point, this honestly sounds like most religions' afterlife. This machine, it's just perfection.
Just perfection, utopia? Sure, sure. It's built on the premise that the good life for most people would rather be happy than sad, rather be positive than negative, would rather have pleasure rather than pain. That's why we started the discussion. How many of you want more rather than less? And everybody was in agreement. And now Nozick presents us with a possibility. It's a thought experiment. Well, what if? And there are more objections to it than acceptance of it. Go ahead.
Who controls the machine?
AI. We'll program it so it only does good to us.
So in the machine, would you like know it's fake?
I have no idea. Let's say it does.
And yeah, it wouldn't.
Let's say it's programmed so it can't do anything wrong to us. It can only make all our dreams come true. The most utopic of utopias that we can think of.
If it can make all my dreams come true, can I not then make part of my dream to make it where I don't know I'm in the machine? To where I feel as though it's real?
That's a great question.
Wouldn't everything be visible as soon as you got out of the machine?
What if you can't get out of the machine, though? Well, his supposition, that's a good question, too. His supposition is, would you live your whole life out that way because you never had to go through pain, disappointment, any hardships, nothing negative that you can think of? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't have hardships in the machine because other people are in the machine with you doing their things. But the assumption is nothing negative at all. Life is a bowl of cherries. Wouldn't that be great? No.
I just feel like people would still like if one person's dream is, this thing, which could be a negative to my dream. But if we're living in the same world, then I'm seeing this negativity that I don't want.
The assumption is you're living in the same world. I'll introduce string theory so we can put you in another universe and you can have the whole universe to yourself.
That's sad.
Say again?
I said, that's sad.
That's sad.
Yeah, being by yourself.
There are people who want to be hermits. Haven't you ever wanted to just be by yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
Not forever.
Well, then you could choose to just knock on another universe's door, and if they open it up, you get to be a part of it, and then you get to go back to your universe. I mean, you could, whatever your imagination wants to make it be, just to avoid displeasure, pain, any of the negative circumstances. Nozick says I can make all your dreams come true, but you have to buy into the machine.
What if my dream is to live a life of struggle, though?
Well, then you get your universe of pain, I suppose. Hell on earth, I don't know, whatever you want. I mean, it'll give you what you want.
Okay, got it.
Sure. Just don't put your hairy toe in my universe, because I'm done with it. I mean, really, it's been quite a while now. I don't even want to bring up the number of years, but it's been quite a while. I'm not hoping for another one. We begin with the premise that life is intrusive. Remember we said that adversity doesn't knock at the door and ask permission, it just rolls right over us and we get to deal with it. Well, in this machine, that wouldn't happen. Right now, the Bank of America thinks there's a 50% chance we're living in this dream machine, that we're living in a matrix, between 20 and 50% chance. They control trillions of dollars of wealth, and they're convinced between 20 and 30. Analysts at Bank of America have reported